Hi, I'm Mark Burkstaller with Line 6. We're here today at Bananas at Large to tell you about the brand new series of live sound products from Line 6. When we stopped a couple years ago and started looking at live sound, one of the things that we determined was that sound systems are complex and difficult to run sometimes without the proper training, which takes time to acquire. So we've always been about trying to reduce the friction between the artist and his art and try to make it easier to create without worrying about all the technical things. Another thing that we determined was that a lot of sound systems, speaker systems out there, don't scale very well. And what I mean by that is, if I have my small PA speaker and I take it to the local coffee shop to do a gig with myself and an acoustic guitar, I might be fine. But that Sunday I have to play for a 500-seat church, and that product doesn't scale up very well. Conversely, if I have a larger system with multiple speakers and a rack of mixer and effects and all that, and I'm going to take that into a smaller venue, it doesn't scale down very well. You can kind of break it apart and make it work, but it's difficult and time consuming. And every room that you go into also we determine is organic, so the sound is always changing, the environment is different, and the application that you're using the speakers for changes sometimes. So into the arena steps the Line 6 L3 series loudspeaker systems. And these are the first intelligent loudspeaker system for musicians. What we're looking at here is the L3T. The L3T is a small, but by small, I don't mean small in sound. This is a 1400 watt loudspeaker. But it's nice and small, compact, fits right in the back of my VW or whatever. It's got two 10s and a horn in the middle, and the dispersion on the horn is 50 degrees vertical by 100 horizontal, so your coverage in the room is really good and consistent. It's a metal grill with a screen backing to keep stuff out of there, and this is a wood box. It's not plastic. We thought that wood sounded better. It's roadworthy. There's flying points if you wanted to install it. And talk a little bit about the rear panel on this. Like I said, this is a digital power amplifier. It's 1400 watts of power, and it's tri-amplified. So there's a separate power amplifier for each one of those drivers in there, which means that each one of them is very efficient. It's not being asked to do a job of a lot of different drivers. It's just working for that particular driver. On the back panel I've got a combi input here with 1/4 inch or XLR. I've got a place here with RCA inputs to plug in my iPod or MP3 player. Inputs here, a level control, speaker mode system, which we'll talk about smart speaker modes in just a moment. In the back we have a network, an intelligent speaker networking system called the L6 Link, which we'll talk about in a second. The speaker modes are very unusual. What this does is it completely retunes the cabinet depending on what you're using it for. I have a little bit of audio here I'll play you, give you an example of what these sound like. So when I change the smart speaker modes on the L3, I'm literally retuning the cabinet and changing all sorts of technical things to change the performance of the product depending on the application. So we'll just plug our little handy-dandy iPhone in here, and we'll listen to some of the modes. We'll start with reference PA mode, which is pretty flat and even. The next mode is called playback mode. Playback is going to give me a little bit of boost in the lows, a little bit of boost in the highs, maybe if I'm playing pre-recorded music and I want that extra emphasis for like a DJ gig or something. Also, there's floor monitor mode on this. So these can be turned on their side and used as a floor monitor. So if I look on the back here, I've got these little flip out wings here that I can use as monitor kickstands, or the handle on the side flips out and gives me a different monitor angle also. So in floor monitor mode, pretty unusual. This has an accelerometer in it like your iPhone, so when you take your iPhone and you turn it on its side, it knows that it's on its side, so it automatically rotates the screen. So the L3T, when you rotate it on its side, it automatically knows that you want to use it as a monitor, and it's going to automatically roll off some of the low-end frequencies that you would normally get by putting a speaker on the floor. So it's intelligent. You don't have to tell it, it just knows that. Keyboard mode is a little bit of extra sparkle on the top end and some warmth on the low end. Acoustic guitar, again, rolls out some of the low-end frequencies on an amplified acoustic guitar that can be problematic. And then electric guitar, basically this duplicates a 212 open back cabinet, and this can be a 1400 watt rig, backline rig for your Pod HD series processor. So we'll listen to a little bit of the speaker modes to give you a little idea what the difference is. And this is flat, or called reference PA. Now change it to playback, a little boost in the highs and the lows. Floor monitor mode. You can hear the roll off on the low end. And then electric guitar, it sounds like you're playing a sound system through a 212 open back cabinet. So those are the smart speaker modes. In addition to that, now all the speakers have these features on the back, but let's say I wanted to take this to my coffee shop gig. This has a built-in 2-channel digital mixer on the side. So I have my 2 combi inputs here for 1/4 inch or XLR. I have my level controls, and then I have 3-band EQ with sweepable mid-range, which is cool. Then I also have modulation, sort of a vocal doubling effect, sort of a chorusing effect, and then a reverb. And then I also have 12 bands of built-in automatic feedback suppression on each channel. There's also 3 levels of how aggressive that is, depending on how you need it to be. And then there's also acoustic modeling from our Variax guitar built into the channel here. So if I plug my piezoelectric guitar in here, it's going to dramatically improve the sound of my existing pickup. If you have a great sounding acoustic electric already, don't turn it on. So that's built into the side of every mixer. Also, let's go back and talk a little bit about the networking on the back of the speaker. This is our Line 6 L6 link, it's called, and it's just done over a standard 3-prong XLR, but we do recommend that you use either a DMX cable. We do sell the cables. It is just a 3-prong cable. It's also important to understand that the L3 series of loudspeakers, although I can take it into a coffee shop and just do it a single gig with just a digital line mixer on the side, the L6 network lets me network multiple speakers together, so I can hook these together, and as soon as I hook up a second one, it knows that it's stereo. And as soon as I hook up the subwoofer, it knows that it's a sub and is only going to see the subwoofer frequencies. And if I hook up another one that's on its side, it knows that it's a monitor and automatically adjusts itself. So by hooking these all together over a Line 6 link, I can create up to a 10,000 watt PA system. And I just connect everything up and it talks to everything. As soon as I hook up one of these to a second one, then what it does is it takes all my effects and all my program material and automatically routes it stereo. Then if I take a cable and run it from the second one back to the first one, it combines all my inputs, and now I have an 8-channel mixer instead of a 4-channel mixer. Just with a couple of cables, and I haven't even hooked up an external mixer yet. So that's the L3T. There is an L3M version of this speaker, which is exactly the same without the line mixer on the side. And then there is a L3S, which is a 1200 watt subwoofer down here below. And that's the L3 live sound speaker system from Line 6. Come down to Bananas and check it out.